The Celestial General, Heaven Sent, in patch 8.1. You are a Celestial General. Cathay is ruled by the dragons, but there are also men, and you are their pinnacle. You are the human bastion, standing tall before the corrupt and chaotic hordes. You are the human juggernaut, with the heaviest weapon and armor your mortal flesh can bear. You lead from the front. The heart of battle is your home. This is your story. The Celestial General is the benchmark against which all other mortal Cathayan lords are measured, not least of which because they ride the finest of mounts. Shugengan were just buffed and needed it, but your generals still fly in grand style. On that note, recruited for 1000 gold and 250 upkeep on foot, the general strides in with 4868 health, a very solid level. Armor starts at a steely 100. With standard 15% missile resistance, leadership of 80 is high. Speed 38 and charge speed 52 seem divinely inspired. Melee attack 60 is not Vampire Lord high, but each blow is magical attack, and that is a big deal. Even if it's running to the rescue rather than riding, he hits hard, come demon or ninja. Attack interval 4 seconds is industry standard. Splash target size medium is silver helms on down, and max target splashed is 4, which is narrower than some and keeps him hitting hard. Melee defense of 40 means he's very offensive tilted except for the armor. Weapon strength for 120 is split base 130 and armor piercing 290, and that is a very good armor bashing ratio. There is no bonus versus a type. Charge bonus is a middle of the road 30 and mass is 800. By default, the Lord is a plus 50% harmony amplifier and has the bound ability Lord of Grand Cathay, 120-second cooldown, 100-meter range, 35-meter radius, can affect self and allies. 16-second duration, benefits are plus 40 melee defense and plus 20% physical resistance. That's really beefy defense for a relatively short period, but if that's what you need at a critical juncture, it's great. On a Warhorse, upkeep goes up to 300, health to 5488, no slash there. Armor shifts up to 110. Speed 78 and charge speed 108 are industry standard. Melee defense actually rose to 45, charge bonus 50, mass 1000. Those are the only changes. On a Jade Longma, and I'm quoting the stat card on that, upkeep 300 again, health to 6088, armor still 110, but this is a flying mount. Speed 105, charge speed 108. Splash targets are now capped at a max of 5, reflecting that weapon strength actually increased to 450, split base 140, and AP 310. Charge bonus is 70 and mass is 1500. Melee defense stayed 45. On a Celestial Lion, upkeep soars to 387, health rises to 6584, armor down to 80, speed 85, charge speed 95, but those are flying figures. Melee attack's default falls to 50, but the Mount's Ferocious attack interval 3.65 seconds is applied, splash target size is now large, so trolls on down, max targets damaged of 5. Melee defense 36, weapon strength is now 470, split base 190, and armor piercing 280, so be aware it's a less generous ratio. Charge bonus is 65 base, and mass is 2000. Only on this mount does the general become a siege attacker and causes fear and terror. Never once before this, at least default state. Items can add fear and terror. For the skill tree, he uses the generally solid Order Faction blue line skills, with the mid-pip being irrepressible, very helpful if immortal or at least surviving his battles, obviously. Plus 30% to personal replenishment is nice. The capstone, the Great Bastion, gives plus 2 to local recruit capacity and plus 2 to recruit rank, in addition to a mild minus 6% upkeep for units in his own army. This is not unique to him whatsoever, but you're chafing from low recruitment slots, right? Having someone help with this is very handy. Redline skills are something I cover unit per unit, otherwise no surprises. The capstone is stand your ground for a big temp leadership buff and melee defense buff. At rank 7, the standalone 1-pip wonders open up with Wind Harmony and Ranged Discipline for plus 10% spell and missile resistance respectively. For the main yellow combat line, hard to hit, 1 pip version, I hate that they keep the same name, starts us off with +5 melee defense, and as noted, he really needs it. Devastating Charge is +30 charge bonus at 2 pips, useful even on foot. Full plate armor is +15 armor at 2 pips, Scarred Veteran +15% health at 2, and is a bit unusually placed here. Deadly Blade +12 melee attack at 2. The traditional midway pip, Foe Seeker, gives its usual speed and charge speed buff and reduced fatigue active ability. Woundmaker is +20% weapon strength at 2, Blade Master +12 melee attack at 2 pips, as in 12 more, Indomitable +12 leadership at 2, Blade Shield +12 melee defense at 2, oh, and the capstone is Heroic Killing Blow. Yes, the capstone is Heroic Killing Blow! 90-second cooldown, 25 seconds of +50% weapon strength, time enough to go bam bam on all of your opponents. You could do worse. The personal line begins at rank 8, at least I always call it that. Leader of Men, as leadership aura effect +5 and aura size +33%. Now, with 1 redline pip, the effect was +8. Now it's +13 and 33% larger. It's not the power that's eye-popping, it's that this is pickable at rank 8 and it's consistent. And of course it will stack with any traits that help with leadership. The thing about the next 3 pips is that they are mutually exclusive, which is natural because they're so strong. Getting all 3 would be completely overpowered. Bulwark of Wei-Jin is quite something. This pip adds 360-degree missile block to the general, gives him 35% missile block chance for that 360 degrees, grants him, personally, armor +30, and moreover, grants armor +10 to the entire army. Nothing says that won't apply to him too. I'd almost call him a flying steam tank, but remember that the Celestial Lion mount adds size and lowers armor, so this is the pip that makes that approach viable. At least much more viable. Hammer of Wei-Jin adds 50% to your melee splash size, gives melee attack +10 to the general, gives weapon strength +60% to the general, that's a lot, and weapon strength +10% to the entire army. Keep this in mind now that Tiger Warriors are available for all Cathay factions. Comet of Wei-Jin gives the general devastating flanker, so doubling charge bonus from flanks or rear. Strider to not be bothered by fighting in forest or jungle, speed +30% personally, and that applies on all mounts, and charge bonus +25% for his entire army. Getting the most out of this one is highly dependent on your army composition, but with the right army, it's more powerful than either of the previous pips, and they are powerful. The general is a general because he leads an army. All pips lead to Titanic Impact, enabling the Celestial Sweep active ability, 120-second cooldown, no use limit, a vortex with a cast delay of 2.5 seconds locks him in place for 4 seconds. The vortex itself is 2 seconds at 120 damage per second, 100% armor piercing, flaming and magical attack both. You do not want to be a Chaos Warrior caught in this. Moreover, entire units, even clipped by this, incur the Rattled debuff, 20 seconds of -8 melee attack and -10 melee defense. Allies are not affected, only enemies. I've mentioned abilities that turn fights. This is absolutely a mosh pit fight altering ability well beyond its immediate damage. Use it without a conscience, preferably in a crowd, but wherever you will be wailing on something afterward too. The capstone, lead from the front, imbues the passive Aura of Endurance, self and allies in 35 meter radius, gain +5 melee defense, and +5% missile resistance. It's brutally simple and just plain helps. This isn't unique to Celestial Generals, but some texts do apply. Inner Strength gives +25% character experience gain and +10% weapon strength to characters. This is one of the late Yang unit texts. Inner Chai is likewise late in Yin and grants health +10% and -1 turns recovering from a wounded state, great with Irrepressible. Oh yeah, I was almost forgetting to mention that there is a rank 2 pickable skill that gives +1 harmony to the province in either Yin or Yang depending on if the general is a Yin or Yang general. So keep that in mind. Anyway, being yin or yang mostly affects background traits, but campaign text giving, let's say, plus 5% movement range to yang characters would apply here. So, how does one play a Celestial General? You may notice a minor change to my style for this section, but in the middle of learning many other things, I realized the lords, even the so-called generic lords, are your user interface with the game. You, the player, live through your lore. If the lords are the PCs, heroes are like the henchmen in the old Dungeons & Dragons rules. They're important, but the lords are your build, your approach to the game, how you express your personal style within the limits of the role you are playing. Panic-prone peasant asks, "What's so good about the Celestial General? He can't even use magic. How's he supposed to support me against Chaos Trolls?" What we have is an excellent offensive physical combatant who gradually becomes better at offense, defense, and mobility. Different mounts make him better at different things, but this is the floor. He is a sponge for friendly magic effects, easier to do with claw speakers available everywhere now, and for equipable items since even dragons can only use so much at one time. Hammer of Wei-Jin with Heroic Killing Blow and Occam's Mind Razor. Brutal! Even more brutal with an ogre blade on his person. Thus we are adapting the old standards from the General of the Empire, and I hereby declare the Celestial General to be Chief of the Fire Department. A line is breaking down. Send him in. A War Hydra is trying to burn down your missile units. Send him in. Slanesh Cavalry trying to give your artillery pain rather than pleasure. Send him in. He's tough. He's not invincible. His melee defense is eternally suspect. But for instant offense, a fist in the face, this is your man, and he'll solve a lot of problems through sheer brute force and stubbornness. That's how he supports the army. He may be leading from the front, but the front is wherever he happens to reposition himself at a given moment of crisis. He seeks the area of greatest need. Beyond this, yes, it's nice to have spellcasters, but he's also pretty self-reliant with magical attack, and if your army doesn't have that, and he does, he will be your best hedge against demon and ninja like I said at the start. It'll come down to how well you've built his redline skills, how much you've put into his personal combat line, and how that balance works out. Background traits can be quite nice for boosts, but those will still be luck dependent when you choose from available generals. What we otherwise have is a lot of consistency. If you get a general to rank 10, you are getting tangible, strong benefits. It's just a matter of which you take that locks out other options. There is not a weak one among them. Ultimately, even if you decide to take him on a long march through the redline skills before enhancing his personal combat line, he'll still hit hard. You're just picking what kind of troops he likes to lead most in the here and now. Pick your preferred loyal soldiers and go at it. Just keep in mind, he doesn't stay on foot for long, so he can lead from the front at the head of an air cavalry detachment soon enough. Like I said, the front is wherever he happens to be at the time. I wanted a baseline. This is a good lord, no question at all, and is reliable, which is just as important to your peace of mind. Keep in mind the complete lack of inherent spell magic, and look at working around this. One last thing, unless it's an item or an alchemist buff, there's no flaming attack present, increasing reliability, but possibly passing up damage on a weak to fire target. The right alchemist can change this short term, but for the general himself, magical attack is redundant. That's what makes him an evergreen menace. He shores up weak armies, he makes strong ones crushingly strong. He just leaves the magic to the quilled pen pushers. Take care, and have fun flying the ferocious skies.